Hello and welcome to another Tech Wrap Craft video. My name is Maria Russell, and in today's video we will be making these cute teacher pins for Valentine's Day. I will be testing this magnetic printable sticker vinyl in matte white. This is also known as shrink plastic, and in this comes with instruction on how and where to print, on which side to print, as well as what to do with it. The first thing that I need to do is go to Canva. I have already downloaded the image on Creative Fabrica, but I have to adjust the saturation of the image because, as you know, with shrink plastic, you have to adjust the colors to make it dull so that when you print it, it's not going to, or when you shrink the plastic, it's not going to be super dark. So I'm just changing the transparency to 50%. And then I will also edit the image to change the contrast to 50% and the saturation to 50%. And after I'm done with that, I will be saving this onto my computer, upload it on my computer, and this will be saved as a PNG image. So we will just be downloading it with a transparent background. And then I will be maximizing the number of pixels on this because I might use this for another project. Save the PNG with a transparent background onto my system. The next thing to do is to upload the image on Cricut Design Space as a flat graphic, and since I've already removed the background, I did not have to do that on Cricut Design Space. And as soon as it uploads on Cricut Design Space, it will be big, so I adjusted mine to about 2.5 inches so that I will be able to fit about 6 images onto one sheet. And then I also added an offset about 0.97 so that when I cut the image I wouldn't have any sharp edges. As you know, with shrink plastic you should not have any sharp edges. So now I'm just adjusting the images onto the paper, and then I will be using my Canon printer to print out the images. Of course, I added the bleed and also used the system dialog so I can adjust the colors and where the paper is going to feed from. And then with the quality, I did it as best so that everything is printed out properly. And as soon as it comes out from the printer, you will notice that the colors are very dull, and don't worry about that because as soon as we shrink the plastic, the colors will be very vibrant. So after it comes out from the printer, I'm just going to adhere it onto the craft mat and then use my Cricut Maker to cut the images out. And following Kayla's recommendation, I searched for the material and I used the plastic packaging as the material because it's very thick. And then once you insert your mat onto your Cricut, the Cricut will be reading the registration lines. As you can see, the light reading the registration lines. And I'm not really sure if it was my Cricut blade that was getting really dull or the fact that I chose plastic packaging, but my system was indicating that this will have 2 passes to cut the images. And I noticed after 2 passes, it wasn't really cut properly. So I had to do this 3 times, which means it was cut 6 times. Because each cut has 2 passes. I guess I could have used my scissors as well instead of just, letting it pass through 6 times, but then I was getting really lazy and I wanted to really test the material. And I also wanted to show you that you have to be really careful when you are removing it because as you can see here, oopsie, I destroyed it. So I only had like 4 pencils to begin with now because I destroyed 2 as I was pulling it out of the cut. And I was really disappointed with myself. But then, that's what happens when we're crafting. We have to test it. but I managed to get 4 good ones out of the 6 that I printed from the A4 sheet. Now I am going to place my design inside a glass bowl because that will be heat proof, and then I am going to use my heating gun to shrink the plastic, and just in case I need to touch the design, I have my screwdriver here so that I don't burn myself. And as soon as the shrink plastic is kind of shrinking, you have to place something flat on top and put some pressure to it so that it remains flat. And it turned out really nicely. So now we are ready to put some UV resin on top of this to make it as a pen. I have my UV resin here, and I'm also going to use the tie tacks to make it as a pen. The first thing that I need to do is put the UV resin and spread it using some plastic spoon. The plastic spoon actually came with my UV resin, just spreading it evenly, and then we are going to cure this using the UV LED light. I cured the resin for about 120 seconds, which is about 2 minutes, and it turned out so perfectly. As you can see, all the shine, and I love how it turned out. I will also use the UV resin and cure it under the light for another 60 seconds to apply the pin on the back. So this turned out so perfectly, and I love it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and click the notification bell to be notified of new content. Thank you again for stopping by, and happy crafting!